Good evening, card chargers. What you're looking at here is a two-part video starting off with a VR to Hodges 1455. Great channel inspired by the gentleman depicted in the 55 Bowman on the left, which is a new pickup for me. None other than Hall of Famer Gil Hodges himself, who I believe started out as a catcher. He's number 14. In 1955, they won the World Series with the World Series with Brooklyn Dodgers. He's originally from Princeton, Indiana. So a local kid gone proud. He served in World War II and he was at Iwo Jima in the United States Marine Corps. Went on to manage the Mets to the 69 World Series championship. So this is a VR to this great channel of hitting pitchers that could hit. And I've got two for you tonight. I can't remember, it's just one or two. The first one I don't think he was a teammate. I don't think Gil was up yet with the Dodgers, but I've got for you one John Whitlow Wyatt. Pretty good pitcher, and make sure that get a little better light on that card there. He bounced around a bit, but this is his 1940 play ball. He was in the American League most of his career, and that tells you a little something because pitchers, had to hit back in the American League at one time as well. For you youngsters out there, pitchers used to hit. And this guy was a really good hitter. Definitely a career hitter above 200. And he had a little power. How do I know this? Well, you can look on Baseball Reference for sure to get all of his stats. And he had a couple of seasons there where he hit above 300. But he had some power late in his career, it developed, and he struggled a little bit in the American League to find his groove, and he suffered some injuries and so forth, but he really came on strong when he went to the Brooklyn Dodgers later in his career. I think in this 1940, he was 30 years old, maybe he was 31 at this point. So late in his career, he had unbelievable Cy Young type winning season. I don't recall if he won the Cy Young, but the 41 Dodgers were a pretty good team. And the reason why I know this is because I worked with some friends, had a computerized Stratomatic baseball league where I worked for many years. And the last few years, the team I had we used historic teams, and I had the 41 Dodgers. And this guy would hit so well, I would bat him 8th in my lineup ahead of the 9th spot. I put Pee Wee Reese in at 9. A young Pee Wee Reese because of the speed and ability to get on base, because this guy would belt between 3 and 7 home runs a year and would win me 20 games. He also pitched 2 no-hitters in this theoretical league. So he was a pretty good pitcher. And that's the first one. Another really good hitting pitcher is this guy, Fred Hutchinson, who was a pretty good pitcher for the Tigers and then became their manager. Apparently had some good leadership skills, and that's going to segue into the second part of this this VR. We're going to switch now to the VR into a Fab 4 of Frank Robinson, and why Frank Robinson is it's episode 20 and he was number 20. And this guy was his manager the year he won the MVP in 1961 when the Ragamuffin Reds went out of nowhere to win the pennant. And I'm reading a book about that right now. You can see this here, Before the Machine. And there's some interesting stories in there. I've already read one about Frank Robinson that had to do with him having a little incident in a restaurant in Cincinnati after a game. He was just looking for some food, and I think Frank carried a gun with him, and I don't blame him at all. And I think there was a little bit of trouble that happened. I haven't read the full story, but I'll share some anecdotes. At some point when I finish that book, I want to share some anecdotes from it with cards from that era for the Ragamuffin Reds. I have several other cards, but the first Frank Robinson card I want to show is the very first vintage baseball card I ever got. This is 64 Topps. Very first vintage baseball card I got at a card show. Very happy with that card. Oh, gee, probably now getting over 20 years ago. So put that there for a moment. Another one of my favorites is this one, his 58 Topps. And what do we have there? Mookie alert. Mookie Chilson, where are you? Pinhole, baby. My first pinhole card. I kind of thought picking this up, yeah, I could get a nice slab one and so forth, but that's okay. I like this look of him in this card, and why not? It's a very inexpensive card. It's just fun. This was obviously a well-loved card. I paid more than $1 for it, but it kind of looks cool, like just $1.25. But nope, this was from a different sleeve. Just put it in the back. Put it in this. It came in a really beat up saver like this. So there's the 58 Topps. And then could be remiss without showing this one. Got to show one from him with the Orioles days. Worst trade the Reds ever made. I'm not going to talk about what the second worst one was, but this is the absolute worst trade the Reds ever made. Letting him go, which the Reds seemed so inept in doing. Player hit 30, they seemed to ship him off. He would go on to win an MVP in the American League as well with the Orioles, and just had a fabulous career with them, winning a World Series, playing in another. He also went on to manage in the major leagues. But I really like the 69 Topps there, the little green dot with his name in it. And this is one of the better of the 69 cards, I think. I don't think this was a previous image of him, so somehow the Orioles cards from this set seem pretty nice. Like, I don't recall ever seeing the repeat image of any of them from this, but I sent this in for grading last year before I started doing videos, and came back at the 7. Very happy with that card. And then one more to show you. This is my absolute favorite Frank Robinson card. I think it's pretty much a favorite of most everyone in the community that loves Frank Robinson. And it's this 59. Just look at this. This is a beautiful card in the 3. It has just the ever slightest, you're probably not going to be able to tell on here, wrinkle that goes up right from about right here up the top of the card. It is very tough to see. I can't really. There it is, I think, right there. Right above the dot of the I on Robinson. But it just presents really well. The back is nice too. It says Frank attends college in the off season. little interesting tidbit about Frank Robinson. He played basketball in high school with the legendary NBA center Bill Russell. He went on to the University of San Francisco Dons, and I think they won a national championship there. He did, but Frank didn't play with him at that point. He was on his way to baseball. This shows you, I think I paid about $50 for this. 45, $50. This shows you what you can get. Just high, nice. Those are really nice corners. That one's a little touch, but these two down here, excuse me, are pretty good. The surface is great otherwise. So there's my Fab 4 Frank Robinson cards. Hope you enjoyed. I appreciate everyone for watching and being patient with the time it took me to put out this next video. Have a great start of your week, and I'll see you on the next one. Heading off the highway.